T3, Booklet 5, the Second New Deal. Key questions. What was the Second New Deal? How easy was it to implement? What resistance and obstacles did Roosevelt face? To what extent, again, was laissez-faire replaced by interventionism? How far does the Second New Deal go in changing this fundamental principle of American government? And finally, how much reform actually took place? Resources and extension materials. The New Deal PowerPoint, FDR's second term, audio file, and the Second World War, extended reading. Task 1. The 1936 presidential election. What does this tell us about the impact of the New Deal? Roosevelt was unanimously renominated by the Democrats as their candidate in the 1936 election, while the Republicans chose Alfred Landon. As expected, Roosevelt was criticized for wasting money, for failing to balance the federal budget, and for giving too much power to the unions. Even the newspapers opposed Roosevelt. For his part, Roosevelt portrayed himself as the Democrats as siding with the forgotten man, the little man, the man nobody knew much about, against big business and against the rich. He was touched while campaigning around the country. Thousands of people would turn up to catch a glimpse of the president and shout out things such as, "He saved my home," "He gave me a job," and he received thousands of letters telling of how he made a difference to people's lives. To the people it seemed he could do no wrong. And when the result of the election came, he gained a landslide victory with a majority of 8 million votes. Only two states failed to support him, Maine and Vermont. Now at the start of Booklet 5, 2 R's summarize the New Deal. 1 R for the first part of the New Deal, and the second for the second part of the New Deal. What are those words? Compare and contrast Father Charles Coughlin's criticism of the New Deal with the criticism offered by Huey Long. How did the programs advocated by Long resemble the programs of the populists and the progressives? How did they differ? Why do you think the Communist Party reached its greatest strength in America in 1935? What are the basic concepts of Keynesian economics, and why are they important to understand when we discuss FDR's presidency? How did American attitudes about the US involvement in World War I shape their attitudes about involvement in World War II? The second part of the New Deal is set against the context of rising hostilities in Europe and the prospect of future conflict. Finally, contemplate. What would be harder for Roosevelt? The first New Deal, concentrating on relief, or the second New Deal, concentrating on reform? Explain your reasoning. Task 3. Go back to the timeline at the front of the book and apply what you've learnt about the Second New Deal to your timeline. And Task 4. Repeat as for Part 1. Look at the political spectrum and plot the positions of the key players in the story of the New Deal. How are the positions evolving and changing? The diagram on this page shows you the key legislation, acts and administrations of the Second New Deal in FDR's second term in office.